Good result, much happier locker room. Halftime was much more the messaging that we want. It was more tactical than it was getting guys going, and getting the crowd tonight was fantastic. Students in particular, they're coming out. Putting them on three sides of the field really makes this place special, more special than it already is. So I'm really thankful for the students, and then our community obviously support's always strong. But Xavier's a good team. They're very good in their front 2 or 3. They're good on the counter. Almost got us a few times. We bent a little bit, but our help defense, Roman was in the right spot. Offensive, I thought we found the space that we talked about. It was wide. It was kind of very much more of a methodical movement game, bit of a chess game, and kind of where the space was. And I thought we found it. We could have been a little bit better, creating some more chances, but I thought our group did find the space pretty well. And that's an older, experienced team as well, so they'll have a good year in the Big East. So obviously just a good win, good shutout. Give our fans Bengals tomorrow, start off the short week, and everyone's happy.
Definitely not the last time you're going to get asked about Sam Sarver, but obviously that one goal, good to get his first career one. He brings so much dynamism, I guess, in the front line. Talk about him and then how much he's given you guys lately.
He's a dynamo. I mean, he is tenacious. He loves moments. He was big moments. He loves scoring. He wants to just go celebrate. Probably the most important player tonight to get a goal might have been Sam, because he's played really well. He's drawn some penalties. He's been in good spots, but for him to also have the composure on the goal, I thought was great. And to open his account tonight was important. But I love his defensive work. He's creating spaces for our other attackers, in particular Vic, when Vic's kind of underneath him. And I'm just going to see Vic get back. I mean, he made a pretty quick recovery. I'll be honest, I'm pretty pleased. He told me the other day he felt really good, and if he tells me he's good, I'm saying I'm good. And our trainer gave the clearance, so we went ahead and used him. And I think it was a great sign. They also challenged me and said, Vic, go get us. You usually don't have him at the end of the games for defensive reasons, and challenged me a bit. I said, your composure and your decision making is as good as anyone. Let's make sure the defensive work. And I thought he did a great job the last 6 minutes to kind of ice the game for us. That was a good positive step for him. But yeah, Sam, really good night.
Can you just talk about Vizera's presence on the field tonight?
Yeah, he does. He gives other guys confidence. Obviously the other teams are very focused on him, so it is going to open up some other spaces. I felt we could have found him in behind a little bit more, and the way they were playing, there was some moments I felt we could have leaked him into the wide channels behind. But overall, he's just so smart. He brings players into the game with his passing, and still didn't get him quite in and around the box as much as we'd like. But that was overall, especially considering he hasn't trained that much the last week and a half. I thought it was a good performance for Vic.
You touched on sort of the methodical aspect of things, but it seems like when you guys maybe are trying to make that last pass or two, a lot of playing through 2 or 3 defenders. What's kind of the key to get you guys in sync on that? I mean, is it just kind of guys playing together more?
Yeah, a little bit of timing, and our, they did a nice job. I mean, they killed some space right when we thought we had it. Some of our angles in our attack, we kind of sealed our own fate, if you will. We kind of took our own angles away the way we drove their back line. We thought we could get some little slip balls in between on some blindside runs behind their center backs, and right when I thought we had it, they get just a toe on it to kind of keep it from finding that little gap. And at times I felt we could have been more explosive and exposed that off the dribble. We were a little bit slow and apprehensive. So it's an interesting game because they're asking, you want to be patient, but it also can get you in this kind of slower, methodical. So I thought our rhythm change of we move it, we go. We need to be a little better, but you almost need to play some of those games to kind of get some more reps out of it, if you will. So I thought overall the guys, again, found the space that we talked about, and credit Xavier that did a good job of making kind of last second plays.
And as you mentioned, maybe a few shaky minutes early, but after that, it seemed like once the defense settled in,
it was good, yeah, and they did a good job of finding the front runners' feet, and they're big and strong. 12 and 9 are a handful physically, and I felt that we could have reset the line and played a little bit more positive on the entry balls, and also our midfield, the space on the double downs was a little bit bigger. So we talked about that at half, kind of how we could always get one of our midfielders to kind of protect the hole, as we call it, to double back, because they are big, and if you try to kind of swim them in front and play positive, they can turn you and they're going to goal. So we have to be careful about positive we played. But I thought we got better as the game went. It was good.
When you look back on Friday, what was the key change to help you guys flip the result around?
I mean, we played it was a charged up Creighton team. I don't want as much say things we didn't do as well. I want to give them some credit. I thought they played, it was like a Super Bowl night for them. And, they were 0-2, and they're a prideful program, and they have good players, and they just played their tails off. And we just couldn't match that component, and then we weren't I thought we kind of stopped playing as the game went on. We just kind of started playing vertical, and we're smart in that. We can find other spaces, and we played a little naive, and I just didn't feel like we brought the passion to the game that they did, and this is our home field. It's Friday night at the Classic. Like, that to me is kind of inexcusable. That's why I was very fired up, because if we get beat by a better team in the night but leave it out there, I'll tip my hat and say, okay, that was their day. But there was more juice we had in the tank, and that's what really we challenged the group. But to play with some composure too. And I think sometimes the early season games, there's a lot of anxious energy amongst the group, expectations. Every game obviously is crucial. They know that, and I think it's a more settled, but yet I think a more intensity at the same time. If that makes sense.
For the deep, how much was this helping to play Xavier? They seem more like a Big Ten-minded team almost, that they sit back a little more and play a little closer style to the Big Ten versus the teams before were a little bit more attacking. So how can this help you going forward to see this
Well,
side?
I mean, some of our Big Ten teams, do have a different pressing element. That's why I think the Big Ten's a really tough conference, because we play a lot of different styles. And this team kind of set up more in a mid-block, allowed us to kind of build in the early phase, and almost was like inviting us to get numbers forward and extend our outside backs and extend our midfield line. And that's kind of what they're saying. Go for it, and then we'll kind of punch into the side. And we will play some teams that will play like that, but I wouldn't say it's like a typical only Big Ten style. I think some of our Big Ten teams press pretty well, and they're a good side. I mean, they play tough teams. Big East is again one of the top conferences, along with the Big Ten. So they're playing the top teams game in and game out like we are, and they had last year they were very unfortunate. It feels like every result kind of went against them last year, kind of reviewing their kind of COVID season. And so we knew they were going to be motivated. They haven't made the tournament in, I think, since 2014. It might be 6-7 years. And they're obviously on a good start this year, Xavier. So we had, I think they kind of felt like they were playing with a little house money tonight. We had to get a response. So that it's not an easy script. And yet our guys have not handled it well.
When you look ahead to Akron on this Friday, they're 4-0, they just beat Pitt today. What are you watching out for as you make the trip down
I
there?
mean, it's going to be a phenomenal atmosphere. I mean, they'll pack it, which is great. I mean, that's why we did a home and home with them. They have a passionate student body and fan base like we do, and we want our guys to feel that and play in it. We can't be intimidated by those away environments. And so yeah, that's going to be one heck of a task. They're well coached. They're very good in what they do well, and that's a very possession-based system, and we're very good at pressing. So we'll see kind of where the chess match plays out with that game. And we've had some great games through the years in the tournament, regular season. So it'll be a fun match. I'm excited.
Would you say it's the toughest game of the year with Akron coming up?
I wouldn't say nothing to say tougher. It's just you throw in all the elements of playing on the road and against a really good team that is confident in what they do. It's no different than playing some of the top teams in the Big Ten necessarily. It's just a different environment. Our team hasn't played there. None of our guys have. So that will be new and different. And yet we have a lot of guys in the Midwest that are familiar with their players, and so they're excited for the challenge.
2 hard-fought games in 4 days. How are you preparing fitness-wise to go and travel to Akron?
Well, we'll let them get a lot of recovery tomorrow, kind of reset it's been a busy week. You throw in start of school, a lot going on, a lot of distractions. You know, families are in town, they want to spend time with them, and there's a lot going on. I felt it too as a coach. This is a tough week when it comes to putting everything, because there's a lot of energy around these games. So I think just getting them reset, getting them relaxed a little bit, recover, and then we'll get a couple of good days of training before we leave on Thursday and get there, get rested, and get ready for just a big battle Friday night.
All right, thanks, Todd.
Thanks, guys.